Alright, so welcome back again. So today is for day 20 love. So the title is Configure Nginx plus PHP-FPM using Unix socket. Alright, so we're trying to do it. I think this lab might be a bit more challenging for us, I think so. Alright, so anyway, we can do it. I hope so. Alright, so we're trying to read the instruction. So the Natalia's application development team is planning to launch a new PHP-based application, which they want to deploy on Natalia's Infer in Strato DC. So the deployment team had a meeting with the production support team, and they are shared some requirements regarding the infrastructure below of the requirements they share. So alright, so the first thing we have to consider carefully is we're gonna have to install Nginx on App Server 3. No, we don't need to go into App Server 1 and App Server 2, just only App Server 3. So configure it to use port 8099 and its document root. So that you see PHP-based application document root should be in this var www.html www.html directory, right? So first thing we go to app server 3. So app server 3 username banner at stappo3. So we see the password. I'm gonna copy the password right there, and then I will say yes, and I will paste the password. Alright, so now we are on the app server 3. So you can change as a root user privilege using sudo -i. Alright, I think it's okay, we can change it. So, but I don't change here, it's okay. So alright, so we have to install Nginx and configure it to use port 8099. So let me install Nginx sudo yum. We're gonna use yum install nginx and -y. So banner password again. So during the installation, we can read the requirement beat. We had to install PHP-FPM version 8.2 on App Server 3. It must use the Unix socket var run php-fpm fpm default.sock. So what is the error? Sudo yum. Alright, we install Nginx again. I think I was wrong for spelling. And Nginx. Sorry for that. Alright, so we complete for installation of Nginx. So let we configure to use port 8099. So we go to sudo vi etc nginx nginx.conf. Oh, sorry. So nginx config. Alright, so you will see that now nginx listening port is 80, so we're gonna have to change from 80 to 8099, right? So I will change to something, so that's why I will change into insert mode. So I will modify the listening port from 8000 to 8099 and also here also 8099. So here root document directory is var www.html. Now is user share nginx html, so we have to modify that one. Alright. So alright, so I will remove these things. So var www/html. Alright, so for the first requirement we finish here. Alright, so I will escape w2. So I will save it. And so how to install PHP-FPM version 8.2 on App Server 3. So let me try to that. So let me find in Google. So how install CentOS. So let me try to run the given commands. I don't remember the commands line. So let me run this. So before we run, we're gonna have to set up the PHP module. This is the initial thing we're gonna have to do. So here's we find some errors, nothing to do. It's not error, but let me try to use module enable PHP 8.2. So here. So problem in requires, so we encounter some errors, missing groups or modules PHP Remi-8.2. So here I want to explain some correct approach to install PHP 8.2 above 8 version 8. You know, in CentOS here we have some issue, the dependency change. You know, in the for CentOS repo, it's not given PHP 8.2, 8.3 above 8 version, right? So we have to do some dependency installation ahead. So for install, for install PHP, we need the REMI repository. We need to install REMI repository. So for installation REMI repository, we need to set a EPEL repository first. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is, like, the problem is we need PHP 8.2 for this level, right? So CentOS repo has PHP 8.2? No. So that's why we're gonna install PHP 8.2. So the first thing here, so we have to install this EPEL release. That's the first approach. We're gonna install that one. So after installation EPEL repository, we're gonna have to EPEL. The purpose of EPEL is like to provide extra packages, you know, that is not in the default repo. So we can install dependency REMI. So we will install REMI repository right here. So I will install this REMI repository using this command line. Why we install REMI repository? Because we need to install PHP 8.2. right? So REMI repository purpose is to provide latest PHP versions 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, etc, something like that. So result, we can make it enable to install PHP 8.3 module this time. So this time we can run this command line. Yeah. But in this lab we are not doing for 8.3, we are just doing for 8.2, right? So I will install this command line. Oh, sorry. Just only this, the second line. So 8.2 is installing. So REMI install, make it enable. So now we can install a PHP and PHP-FPM. Alright, so now I will install it. So after we successfully install it, we can check the PHP-FPM status, sudo system cts status PHP-FPM. So currently it's not running. So we're gonna make it start to running. So let me start. sudo system cts dot php-fpm, and we make it enable. It's correct spelling, ENABLE, or wrong spelling, sorry, ENABLE, right? So alright, so but we're gonna have to use this unit socket in this PHP-FPM configuration. So we have to configure something for unit socket correct pathway. So how do we configure? Sudo vi etc php c fpm.d www.conf. That's a correct. So here we had to face something, yeah, you know. So now you see that username is Apache and group name is Apache. It's not matter too much, but we can face something like correct as server name, because we are now using Nginx, right? So I can change to Nginx. You can skip this stuff if it's not necessary. Alright. So we have to change the listening import. That's very important, like listening socket, unit sockets. Now the default unit socket is run php-fpm www.socket, right? So but we don't need that, because we have to get this correct socket here, unit socket var run php and default.socket. So I will remove the default one. Instead of it, I will add var run php-fpm default.socket. So we change the socket listening. Here we can, this also nobody is also, we will change to Nginx. Actually we don't need to fix this because this is command lines. Alright, so we save it, and so it's called wrong spelling, and escape it and save it to view. So let me restart the PHP-FPM. After we do configuration. So let me check the status. Now it's actively running PHP-FPM version. Alright, so we finished the second requirement, the requirement B. So anyway, here we create the parent directory if does not exist. Actually, let me check this. Define is existing or not. Sudo ls -la. Yeah, that finds correctly existing right there, so we don't need to think for this. So we have to configure PHP, FPM, and Nginx to work together. So PHP and FPM PHP, FPM, and Nginx to work together. How do we configure that? So here I want to explain one more concept right there. So here, oh right, no, not that one. Yeah, we will find that in the Google. Before I will how to configure. So we had to use this part, right? So we go back to sudo vi etc nginx nginx.conf. So here, one more things we need to consider is like Nginx is like, you know, the user is kind of like a browser. Nginx is kind of like a waiter, and here PHP-FPM it sounds like he's itself kind of like the kitchen stuff. So how do we do that? So here you can understand that user trying to access the index.php file. to the server. So Nginx receives the request, the user request. So he will check if that finds ending with a PHP extension. So if it is ending with a PHP fine, yes. If it is yes, so he will use PHP location block. That's if like PHP-FPM, so in that file, so in that location is like, if that is include PHP file, so he will send to the PHP-FPM sockets, because he does not run the PHP files on the Nginx server. Instead of it, he will push the PHP files to the PHP-FPM socket. So in there, PHP files will be run, so PHP generates HTML, and finally Nginx return HTML to user. That's it. So if it's not ending, it's gonna be sub as a stat define, something like that. So the only direction user send the PHP, user sends the request. So Nginx trying to manage the files with and the files ending with the PHP extension. So he will use PHP location block. So this is the location block. Here is a location block, the location and the file ending with the PHP. So in that file, he will push the unit socket to the related pathway. Alright, so here also we have to give there some parameters. So when you are trying to access the PHP file, we had to do index detective. So the first index page has to be index.php. If index.php is not existed right there, it will pass to index.html. So we're gonna have to add this line right there. So in the configuration file, under the rule line, we're gonna add this. Alright, I add there. So the second, I will add the location block here. I explained that, the PHP location block. So that PHP location block is very important for this lab. Alright, so I will go back to the configuration file. I paste right there. So here we will remove some necessary packages. We don't need this snippets, these things. Actually, we don't need this. And we use first CGI impulse. So first CGI impulse unit socket pathway has to be modified, because we have to go to var via var run PHP-FPM the folder socket, right? So now we will have to give the correct pathway. Alright, and now we got semicolons. Alright, so we've successfully add requirements lines right there, and I will save it and to build you. So I will restart the Nginx server. Let me do myself. So we finished for the third requirement. We configure PHP-FPM and Nginx to work together. I will explain again. These PHP files are not running on the Nginx server. Nginx server is performing like he trying to parse the PHP files to the PHP-FPM socket. So in the socket, PHP files are running, PHP files are executed right there. So alright, so finally sudo yum sudo nginx. Let me check the configuration. Configuration is not a set of fail -t. Oh, password again. So configuration is successful. Alright, so let me sudo system ct s1 let's see, yeah, what's wrong. cts restart nginx. So let me check the nginx server status. Oh, status status. Alright, so we finish it. So it's actively running. So finally, for the full requirement, after we successfully correctly configure, we can test the website using CURL http http://o3 port 8099 and index PHP file. So you will see that welcome to Fusion Conf industry. The test is a HTML test or PHP test, right? So we finished for this layer, right? So we will check it out and say confirm. Yeah. So, alright, you guys understand what I explained right there. The main concept is only this, we had to configure to work together Nginx and PHP-FPM, right? This part is very important. Alright, so see you in the next video. I will catch you there.